Hello? Very good evening. Lambat pula dia loading ni. Hello Irham, Hanifah. Welcome to the stream. Ya, tak kena. Hello. Is my camera bigger? Oh, biasa. Okay, tu baik. I think it's okay. Ya, saya tunggu loading jap. Lambat. Ada lagi loading tu. Oh my god. Hello, baru datang. Welcome to the stream. Ni pun loading lama ni. Apa ni? Apa ni? What the hell? Hari ni kita sambung balik. Segelap. Hari kita sambung balik kita punya mission, which is ada insiden yang berlaku. Sekejap ya. Apa ni? I got Bonzo. Yo, dapat ni. Dapat resipi baru. Fruity duet and fruity smoothie. Favorite trial sampai pukul 8. 8 Okay. Esokan paginya. Ada participate in the trial.
Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another. Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do. Thanks, Navia. Well, we'll be going then. Best of luck to you.
Finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed. No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help. Now, don't you all look disappointed. Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Wah, Genshin. Game yang bersepah makan space hard disk, betul.
Since both
update
parties are
baru ni
present,
pun dah
I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now
banyak
in
agak.
session. Firstly, in
Orang kata
order for the
total
audience to
60 gig.
understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Ni dia
Yes, of course.
sedebuk je.
I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All
Dia
the
punya map
necessary
update
items have
sedebuk
been
je.
prepared.
Sikit je. Gila 60 gig kan.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement
PC
to
lagi
mean that
besar space dia daripada
when to and
mobile.
remain hidden within
Nak
the magic
kalahkan
box in
COD
the
ke.
audience stands once the trick
Kau bayangkan
begins,
Mira,
and thus
bayangkan
not
kalau dia
commit the crime.
ada the full
Is
map,
correct?
the full
Yes,
table punya
that's
map.
correct, Your Honor.
Maybe lebih
In
daripada
that case, I call upon the
GTA?
prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Ooh, judgment.
Scales. Could those mean... Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to
Judgment.
use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid. Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth? The House of the Hearth?
Ya, Fatui.
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened
Kenapa
on stage
Farina ni
probably
sus?
wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our
Entah.
identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute.
Farina ni lebih kurang
Your
macam
first priority is to prove
Raiden.
yourself innocent after all. I'm
Tapi dia ada
sure there's little that
clingy
needs to
dia.
be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the
Comel.
infighting in Discord,
Dia macam
I
Raiden.
suppose. This
Ah.
was almost too
Adalah dia
easy.
punya, ada part dia macam Raiden sikit.
Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off. Hey, Winnie! Why didn't you tell us this before?
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard
Archon belum
beyond
keluar
the
lagi kan?
house,
Itulah
you were
Archon.
neither in the box
Tapi
nor the tunnel.
untuk pool
Second,
belum keluar
you and
lagi.
Ms. Lynette are both members of
Sekarang ni
the House
baru
of
ni
the
lah
Hearth.
karakter ni.
Are these claims
Yang
true?
bukan ni. Yang tadi tu, yang ni. Baru karakter ni. Next banner Child dengan Zhongli. Lepas Child dengan Zhongli tak sure. Bukan Lenny. Ni ah. Furina tu Archon.
Please
Lenny
answer
bukan.
my question.
Lenny
Mr.
dia magician.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
Yes, Furina Archon. Hydro Archon.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
What should we do now?
I told you Mira sebelum ni. Tu Mira lupa. Ni? Dia orang kata ni Abang Furina. Tak tahulah. Betul ke tidak?
In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
Dia design.
The defendant deceived their own
Siapa?
attorneys. What if
Design
they
lain
had
ke
to
dengan yang
stop?
sebelum ni?
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall
Tak
adjourn.
interacting langsung.
This trial will
Faham?
reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Lenny's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep.
Tapi gaya cakap dia lebih kurang macam ni. Macam siapa? Macam official. Gaya cakap dia. Ada, aku ada beritahu dulu.
Well,
Long time
this
ago.
is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
Yeah.
Tapi tak expect the design offering it just
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on
Meh.
the assumption
Faham,
that you
faham.
weren't bad guys. Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad.
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends.
dia game
That's why
fatu
I
ya.
didn't wish to flat out lie
Diorang.
to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to. Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but right. Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now.
Of course, I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice. Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But, like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Ini je pilihan yang ada.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense. Huh? Oh, Paimon thinks she gets what you mean.
Dia dapat Lynette punya statement. So, kita balik ke trial court. Continue the trial.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we
Masuk
left
court.
off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as
Tempat dia sebenarnya opera.
Therefore, Lady Farina may
Pun jadi
continue
court.
stating her
Aku tak faham.
reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Mata dia lawa tu. Based on opposite account of event, you can identify loophole in their statement. This evidence and to obtain any inferences. Preserve refutation. Clear. Preparing brings the recycle and truth. Apa ni?
As the countdown began, he entered
Tu
the
Iwan
tunnel.
katanya. Betul? Dah macam Milo lah. 3 in 1.
When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that the sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linney red-handed.
Tumbuk.
So Linney
What?
proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Lenny passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cal's death would be ruled an accident. And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
Yes, I do.
Refuting Lady Farina is the order of events, what Lenny experienced and what he saw.
Ini aku rasa ni.
Seems this won't.
Oh, bukan. Oh, bukan juga. Ini.
To Lenny, he left via the vent
Jelas
after
baju
entering
tak
the
silap.
tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey.
Baju bukan. Tu sama ada macam ni kot. Oh, bukan. Bukan juga. Apa ni? Ini Oh,
Lenny
baju.
did not take part in the underground altercation. He only witnessed traces of the aftermath.
Lepas tu
Lenny went to the room that
the
contains
voice
the
of
Oratrice's core.
Chris.
This
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say! When the countdown started, Lenny did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent.
Successful refutation. So, baju second last.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that! Wasn't it awesome?
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
Moreover, I believe my opposition reasoning is flawed.
My
apa ni, refutation, the action of proving a statement or theory to be wrong or false. Faham? The on-stage equipment was clearly tampered with the premeditated fashion. However, you said that Coward bumped into Lini by chance.
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him.
Refutation ni bahasa Melayu apa?
Partners of mine, they've managed to turn things around. Oh, well, your denial is very strident. I'll give you that. But what proof do you
Refutation.
have to back your claims?
Penolakan.
Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't?
Ni kan?
That's right! Linny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance. This means that when the crime happened, Linny had already entered the basement via the vent. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Well played. To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
The murder was. Oh no. Kena cari. What we said about mak guna otak teruk tu lah tu. Ni tak pasal-pasal kena belajar law eh. Who was the only person who could possibly have committed the crime? Ini yang mati. Ni kot.
Halsey is the missing person and an ordinary audience member. Or did she have her own scheme all along? Could there have been a third person involved? Is that really a possibility?
This lady is missing. This one yang mati dalam apa dekat pentas tu.
The deceased's name is Cowell.
Hmm.
Lenny's
Powell
assistant.
nama dia.
He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
So yang hilang daripada tempat magic tu ni perempuan ni.
And an ordinary audience member.
So sama ada perempuan ni ataupun this one. Ada orang yang ketiga. Aku rasa perempuan ni. Tapi dia seorang je hilang. Tengok ketiga kata apa.
Could there have been a third person involved?
Mungkin ada orang yang ketiga join. Is that really a possibility? Mira rasa yang mana? Could be orang ketiga Could be lah. Tapi tak tahu orang ketiga tu siapa. Kita try Oh salah, correct. So perempuan ni.
Halsey is the missing person.
Bukan juga. So yang lelaki ni yang mati ni.
Miss Cowell, Linny's
Oh ya tu? Bruh. Apa ni? Apa tesis apa ni?
That can't be right. Are you serious?
Apa boleh? Kan?
In fact, Cowell, the deceased.
Oh, is that so? How interesting. Let's hear your reasoning then.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim.
Okay. How can we envisage Lenny as having been unable to interfere with the crime?
No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey? Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some fear that she would attract attention. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time.
Apa ni? Macam mana mau fix ni? Ni apa tadi?
It would have been tough
Tunnel
for
van.
both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well.
Lenny dulu
Linny was not in the tunnel.
Okay, Lenny not in tunnel. Lepas tu van.
It would have been tough for both.
Ini van.
The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so it
Dengar.
must have. The sound we heard may have.
Ini van dengar.
No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So where would the criminal have
Tapi ni
wanted to take
Cowell
Halsey?
plan a situation inside the tunnel.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment.
Kita lagi dua Mira.
The
Tiga,
deceased's
sorry.
name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. Linny was not in the tunnel at that No one entered or left the opera house through its. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to.
Sekejap. Mengkaji hubungan antara. So sekarang ni kita Mira nampak kan skrin aku kan? Okay, kita sekarang nak cari plan untuk Cowell and situasi dia dalam tunnel tu. Boleh ke?
The sound we heard may have come. Linny was not in the tunnel at that.
Boleh. Nanti tapi kena switch lah.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
Sistem yang lelaki ni okay.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that.
Kau jantan ni. Okay.
It would have been tough for both people.
Dengar kan? So, okay.
The sound we heard may have come from a.
Dengar.
It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent.
Ben. Ini.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time.
Silap clue. Reputasi salah. So yang dengar ni betul. So Ni ke ni? Ni last kan aku rasa. Okay, ni first tunnel.
Both people to fit into.
Third ni. Laki ni tiga ke laki tu empat? The first one ya, tunnel van.
They would likely have bumped into Linny as well.
Okay. Van tak ada kena mengena, which mean oh. Van tak ada masuk dua orang. Baju
Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel, so there must have been some fear that she would attract attention.
Satu last baru ni kawal. Okay, kita try last kawal.
The deceased's name is Cowell. Linny's.
Oh salah agak. Lenny dengar baju ni.
Linny was not in the tunnel.
Baju tak ada.
The
Aku set ni.
deceased's name is Cowell.
Awal. Baju.
Halsey's clothing was in.
Oh tiga betul. Okay, baju ni van.
It would have been tough for both.
Oh salah. So ni
No one entered.
entrance.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you're still far from the truth.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track? Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay in the performance.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Belum na second.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. The vase was not broken by chance. It was used to cover important evidence. The water.
What the? Whoa, dude. The water.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed into water...
Oh, just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick. Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this truth very well. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about two completely different things.
Even so, I trust the traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps a new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make sense. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased Cowell.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea?
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just a coincidence, isn't it?
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowell was targeting that girl, Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal heart! That one didn't make sense at all. Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
Who is the prime suspect currently? Reconstruct the criminal plan.
The rope that held the water tank up was lit by the fireworks and snapped. As such, the focus here is on the water and not the tank. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering mechanism. The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped before Halsey entered the magic box. Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. Did she have something to do with this? I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box. The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped before Halsey entered the magic box.
The first one yang kotak mana? Yang kotak atas stage ke? Ni.
I remember there was
Oh,
something
okay.
else within the inner...
Resolution. Ni kan?
The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped before...
Why take a break so Wesley?
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment.
Dia kata dissolve Wesley ni kan? Item. So yang second ni tadi
The water from the
control
primordial
timing.
sea should already have been prepped before... Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of trick.
Dia dissolve ni. Hah? Betul lah. So yang ni dia kata, yang ketiga ni dia kata cara untuk dissolve Wesley. Dia ni kan? Air ni.
The water from the primordial
Okay.
sea.
Right, tadi kau perlu hide mechanism behind the crime. Ni. Is to hide mechanism behind the crime.
The rope that held the water
Special
tank
rope.
was lit by the fireworks and snapped.
Oh salah. So ni dua betul. The guy. The first one is the guy. The last one is
Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time.
Ni.
I remember there was something else within the inner...
Huh? Ni. Ni yang ni. Ni yang dibagi tahu. So cara ya. Betul. Dua sama. tak boleh lah main mall.
In the original plan,
Dia pakai sebab mata tu.
tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person? What a humiliation.
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cal's death. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
Apa ni? Hai bang. Hai panda. Pada dah subscribe dengan like ya. Thank you for subscribing.
Contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence.
Thank you.
I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case. And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What?
That can't be. Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you. Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close.
Lawa lagi.
Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless organization. Am I right, Mr. Linny?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
Oh no. Paimon can't think of anything either. It doesn't look like there's any way around this. Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move. Why did this have to happen now?
I think we've all seen enough now, and we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning. I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view, move...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please, do the honors, Mr. Linney, if you would be so kind.
What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette, give it another go. Don't worry, Spina di Rasula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
And voila!
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry.
Dia yang bunuh Kawel.
The one who killed Cowell.
Kawel bunuh dia. Bengkong.
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there, and I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Lenny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief. Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was onto me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee, but then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lily-Ann's perspective.
Apa lagi? Tekanan resolve stage resident ni last sikit. Ni Tiga ni kan. Kalau tu biru. Ini air jatuh. Ke air jatuh ni yang ni? Yang dengar ni second. Yang voice second. Voice nombor 4. Tak fikir apa-apa je. Bukan. Mata 4. Itulah hook. Random number selector. Ini time sebelum Lenny masuk tunnel. Laju nombor 2. Oh, bukan.
Seems this
How would Hazel have reacted? Good. Oh, kan.
The strange sound wasn't from a fight. It was Lillian's attempt to break out when she was frightened.
Fight did indeed break out. No, how to no longer hold water, but you didn't prove that fight. So yang ni maybe vase. Oh, betul.
The flower vase was not broken to cover anything up, but was smashed during the struggle between Lillian and Cowell.
Ini tak ada. Ni mana ni? Tak ada. Nak identify loophole yang ni ke yang bawah? Ni. Sebab tak ada dah. On stage accident. Bukan.
Seems that
Ini I rasa Lenny anti tunnel ni. Ni kot. Bukan. Ni apa tadi? Personal fear. Cash. Ini mesti tukar baju.
Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left, so she changed clothes and hid, biding her time. Just what one.
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue,
Dia ubah yang ni je, yang first dengan last ni dia tahu.
Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicks the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had not dissolved. He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lillian back into the box. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking Cowell out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
Tapi masalahnya seri lagi tu. Tapi Furina tu memang kita sampai ke apa? Ke konten ni memang sekejap gaduh.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped two of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Yay.
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
What? Are you reading my mind now? No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow, look at that! She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent.
Yay!
While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, This case at
Putar
least
belit
can be handed over to the oratories to make a
Akhirnya
final decision.
kita menang dalam kes ni.
As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Aku sampai sini.
Great
Thank you, Mira,
Thank you all.
for helping me.
So much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that
Yeah,
not
but-
a discovery, but false evidence that you dare to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes?
Jahat ni.
I'm sure
Takut.
you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the
Oh,
serious
right.
disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes,
Orang
I'll
ni
tell you
sendiri
everything
siut.
I know.
Tu tu.
Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about. The...
Kau? Jadi air.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
This robot dia comel. However, nothing is found on the scene apart from the liquid of being dissolved.
So, we're just going back now? That's true, but...
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
It's me done.
Lenny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end, even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui. I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
A knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
Cheese.
That's right. And since we're here,
Perempuan.
I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story? It's about my past. Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left
Tapi dia kata
wandering the
father.
streets.
Pasal perempuan.
To survive, I took to surreptitiously
Dah
observing
gender,
an
right?
older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner,
Pada figure.
and we began to
Dia
perform
kot.
magic tricks there. To my
Ni kot,
surprise,
the one
it
yang
proved to be pretty popular.
game fatu yang rambut panjang warna
Stopped
putih tu.
worrying about where our next meal would
Mudah-mudah.
come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed
Yep.
that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too.
Aqil Cino.
As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those
Pusing
painful days.
pusing dalam
I gradually
trailer.
discovered that while we were called foster
This
children,
one.
he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was.
Tapi dia kata
After one
dark
particular
his heart.
performance at a banquet, I
Lelaki pula.
discovered that Lynette was
Dia
not on the
typo.
same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was,
Faham aku.
she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care, and they have their ways of escaping the eye of the law. I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans. Father, I mean the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power when she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water,
Aku
thus
panggil
further supporting the prophecy.
the cryo Archon.
All of us
Teresa.
house members here, Lady Arlecchino herself included, are from Fontaine. We won't give up on defending our homeland. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
It's alright, I understand. The only thing I can do is relate all this to you. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the House, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Linny.
Bye-bye now. Pati doon.
Bye, Linny!
The twist of apa tu? Apa dah?
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances
Ini
case,
kalau
though.
dia bunyi tadi.
Don't you think so too? Huh? What's
Yep.
wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Ah. I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Oh, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too.
Really sweet.
It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal? Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
Well, if you say so.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navia's treating, count Paimon in.
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the Court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell meal.
Prelude of Bankler of Noikla. Fountain of Lucine. Go to the workshop. Go to the Hotel de Boer. Apa ni? Ada benda baru. Oh. Ada lagi ni. So kita kena pergi ke Hotel de Boer. Sebelum itu kita buat daily list. Aku nak tukar daily list aku sekejap. Ni. Ke Semeru. Semeru pula ke apa dia? Tak ada lagi. Fontaine. Semeru pula. Yang busuk. Mirror busuk. Wih. Ada sidik. Ini apa? Teleport ke? Oh ya tu. Available. Apa ni? Okay, sebelum tu kita buat mission dulu. Kita ada hijab. 1, 2, 3, 4. We go here. I know I lambat but congrats you join YMY. Huh? Thank you. Thank you Mirol. Thank you for supporting me. I will do my best to entertain you guys.
There is no escape.
Nak kerja saya.
Shine down.
Everyone hold hands.
Rasengan. Beli nak pull. Tak nak lah full karakter ni. Karakter baru ni kan. Ni karakter ni. Tak nak lah, tak minat. Tak minat dia. Tak minat. Aku nak pull ni Archon, Hydro Archon. Tapi aku tak sure bila tapi Zhongli lepas banner ni. Lepas banner ni habis, banner Zhongli. Maybe aku tak habis pull untuk dia, untuk Zhongli. Aku nak saving for Rina.
Illusion shattered.
Everyone hold hands.
Mati dah. Dari hari tu lepas ni Zhongli bila keluar banner ni lagi 18 hari kan. So pada 18 hari 23 jam baru banner Zhongli. Time tu aku pull lah kot. So lepas ni aku stream buat ni lah kot. Aku stream yang Genshin kalau ada apa ada story je. So any event ke apa aku dah tak join dah. Apa siapa tadi? Zhongli dengan new Archon, Hydro Archon, Furina. Oh dah ada berapa dah? $226 intertwined fate. Dia kalau convert kan tak tahu berapa puluh ribu dah. Sebab aku tak suka time dia jadi Primogem tu. Aku dah cukup aku terus convertkan dia. Saya nak kira. Lepas tu apa? Weapon tak pull lah. kot. Sebab weapon tahi sikit lah. Nak dapatkan the exactly weapon that I need. Tak dapat. Tak boleh nak dapat. Susah nak pull. Bodoh dalam sistem ni. Like dia punya sistem PT untuk weapon dia teruk sangat. Tak sama macam karakter ke? Tak. Kalau apa? Kalau karakter kita boleh tahu PT kita berapa. Kita boleh kira PT kita. I mean PT dia akan I think 50 feet. Full character at least 80 kot. 80 boleh dapat one character yang kau nak. Ataupun tak dapat. Dapat 5 star tapi lain character. Kalau yang macam weapon ni kau pull lah banyak-banyak kali. Tak ada guarantee. Kinda annoying tak tu. Agak annoying lah. Aku boleh tunjuk kau berapa kali aku pull untuk weapon. Sekejap. Macam ni kan. Ni aku boleh kira 5. Okay, last aku pull 22 bulan 3. So dah reset benda apa dia punya pengiraan tu. So dia akan start dari sini balik 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kalau weapon 5 kan, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36. Weapon punya garanti susah sikit nak dapat. Kalau karakter tu ya lah. Kalau karakter susah-susah nak pull pun ada garanti. Ya, kat sini lebih tahu kan kat sini kan. Kalau kat karakter sini kan dia tulis every 10 wishes is guaranteed to include at least 1 4 star ataupun higher item. Kalau itu pun at least kalau contoh kalau macam tak dapat karakter ni, dapat karakter lain tapi 5 star, mesti dapat karakter juga. Kalau macam ni kau pull lah banyak kali, yang kau akan dapat paling busuk lah ni lah 4 star. Ni 5 star 4 star 4 star. Ya weapon 4 star macam ni lah. Nasib aku main star rail je. Star rail aku tak sure lah. Tapi aku suka Tower of Fantasy punya Tower of Fantasy dia punya mechanism full character. And then farm barang untuk that character. Farm something like macam pearl kot. Senang sikit lah. Kau pergi ke sana ke sini, kau boleh dapat dapat the thing untuk kau pull character. Kalau macam ni kau kena farm primo dari story, dari daily pun berapa je. Untuk daily dapat 60 je. Kalau Genshin punya pool, kalau kau nak apa, kalau kau nak pull satu karakter, satu kali pull, kau kena 2 hari lebih. 2 hari lebih baru kau dapat satu intertwine fate. TOF tu tak feel sangat macam kacau sebab TOF tu betul-betul garanti. Betul. Tapi aku suka dia punya ni. Dia punya cara grinding dia punya barang. Grinding dia punya the thing untuk kau pull character tu. It's easy lah rather than this game. Tu je lah aku suka pasal mekanism apa TOF. Tapi story ke apa aku suka Poyo punya. Tak macam Young Weller. Bila masa aku Weller, aku farm gila benda tu. Kau bayangkan daripada banner Shenhe plus banner Shenhe aku pun. Aku tak guna duit pun. Yang guna duit pun ni je kalau dulu. Kalau dulu aku main apa yang beli ni, yang beli setiap hari claim ni. Kalau dulu aku beli ni je. Ni Welkin. Aku rasa aku ni aku pernah beli 2 kali je. Lepas tu aku dapat free. Kau ikan bilas ni. Tak, ikan gapi. Kau belilah, tak nak aku.
Ad Astra. Thank you for completing today's commissions. Here is your reward.
Tak ada duit. I don't have money to buy. Bila video keluar? Video apa tu? Ada. Ni tadi ni. Video JMY lah. Video JMY? Apa? Itu je lah video baru. Video apa? Video pergi Super Park tu. Currently tak ada video baru. Video debut hang lah. Belum buat lagi. Aku tak buat lagi. Sebab ni. Sebab ada orang ada buat something. Pandang tengah erase something. Pandang tengah sibuk. So aku tak buat lagi video tu. So tunggu everything settle baru aku buat video. How about kau stream only up kat NJMY? Nak main only up ke? Aku tak ada game tu. I don't have that game. Tapi tak boleh tu. Nanti aku main kejap ke. Aku tak main dah. Aku cepat bosan. Kalau game yang aku tak masuk, aku tak main tu. Sikit. Dari bawah tanah. Bodoh. True kan. Aku tak enjoy sangat main game. I mean the game that aku tak main. Aku kena main game yang aku main. Dah dijual something. Baru sejam kan. So we got a bunch of flower. Jom aku nak makan dulu. Bye bye. Okay, bye bye. Bye bye Mirul. Thank you for coming.
What they say is true.
Kita tak buat apa-apa ni. Baik kita buka portal. Buka teleport. Sini ke? Ya tu. Let's keep swimming. Untuk makan. Aku baru perasan yang aku punya topi ni tembus. Kan okey tak? Sama je. Apalah dik.
The more data samples, the better.
Dan try lawan bos. Oh, how to interrupt? Orang di dalam.
Sharing my knowledge.
I got you covered.
Illusion shattered.
Ah!
Shine down. Inazuma shines eternal.
Kenal Kokomi ya. Boleh.
I see everything.
Here's backup.
Look at her. Make yourself a room.
Go. Yeah. Yeah.
There is no escape. Now you shall perish.
Pasingan.
Everyone hold hands.
Water jet.
Oh, dia kena pilih ke? Tak dapat dua-dua. Boring. Ini apa? Oh. Bruh. Sorry. Dia buat lagi tak? Dia bukan claim dulu. Oh, opponent tak masuk lagi. Okay. Oh, tanah kan. So how the heck aku dah pergi situ. Dah boleh putih. Oh, ikutnya the color. Mah tu rumah bawah lagi. Kita heal sekejap. Okay, kita guna juga character. Apa tu? Dia punya scenery.
All is accounted for. Let's move out.
Let's move out. So aku akan sambung story esok. How to go there? Oh, under there. Di sini tak buka lagi.
Let's move out.
Reputasi. Tak internet lagi ke? Apa ni? Betul di board.
I came here several times with my
Some
family when I was
story.
little, but stopped eating here as often after growing up. I hope the food here will be to your taste.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while. Paimon's getting excited already.
In that case, I'll go order for us first. Please wait here a moment.
Ooh, everything looks so good. People in Fontaine sure know how to enjoy life.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make a group reservation for the rest of Spina di Rosula next time.
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only one dish per table.
You, sure have your own way of doing things. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory feast, right? We did just win that case after all.
Oh, true. Very true. In that case, boss, we'll have another 2 dishes.
Huh? Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more food. Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon now that this has all happened?
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means to dissolve these young women, but we still don't know what they are really after.
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be dissolved like that.
Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move forward before.
Ugh. If only that guy could have finished speaking! We were so close to hearing who was behind it.
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning chasm if the trail of clues is cut off. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability, it's just that a different perspective is required in some matters. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift in thinking is required at such times in order to produce a breakthrough,
Which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula exist. Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why we exist. To seep into the cracks where filth falls through, where their watch fails them. That's the kind of problems we solve.
Seems Paimon thought things were simpler than they actually are.
It's alright. Well, this was supposed to be a farewell meal, so I doubt you have further interest in this business, right? Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended. It didn't really seem like the right time or place to do it anyway.
I see. So, your primary objective, which has been foiled so far, was to have a chat with the Hydro Archon. I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina. I suspect you'll be waiting for quite a while, considering that you missed your chance today.
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here in Fontaine, and that it'll be tough getting any of her time.
Well, would you consider some more, unique ways? Perhaps even methods of, let's say, questionable legality?
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you. Chock full of sketchy ideas. Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play, don't you think?
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan seems pretty hard to pull off. We'd have to go learn how to act, and acting's really hard.
Alright, here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed, then wake her up in the dead of night and demand answers. Don't let her go back to sleep until she answers all your questions. I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything as long as I can finally get some sleep.
That might work, but that's not really the problem. The problem is we don't want to get ourselves arrested.
Valid point. I overlooked that part. I was just thinking about leveraging a person's desire for sleep. Alright, no more joking around. Perhaps you could... I don't know. Cut the line when she's on a break. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusation she had nearly upheld personally. I imagine that she feels quite ashamed about the whole thing.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Oh, that does make some sense. Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know, strike while the iron is hot and all.
Huh? Paimon, did you drink my Fanta?
Was this your drink? Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention and the cup was right next to Paimon. Would you like to order another?
No, it's fine. We're just about done here.
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fanta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky.
Is that so? Huh. Well, in that case, we'll have to blacklist the Fanta here then. If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're stuffed. Thanks for the treat, Navia.
Kita Navia kaya. Paimon, makan je kau.
Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore. Nah, that would be so... normal. You know, like you.
Okay. As for expenses this month, we're left with...
Hey, Navia! What are you doing over there?
Oh,
a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover.
Let's get ready to try to meet the Hydro Archon again. Bye, Navia!
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're always welcome to contact the Spina di Rosula. I'll give your requests the highest priority. In any case, I wish you smooth sailing. I'll see you again, partner.
See ya!
That's it. Bruh. Okay. I think I'm gonna end right here. So I will do the opening this thing offline lah, but not today. Okay, I will sambung the apa dia tu, the chapter, the next chapter soon, tomorrow or another day. Okay, bye bye guys. I see you guys in the next stream. Bye bye Irham, bye bye Mira, bye bye Panda, bye bye Mirul. Thank you Mira, tolong aku tadi. Bye bye guys. See you guys soon. Bye. Good night. Salam maghrib.